Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series, we're on Unit 20, Being Innovative, talking about new ideas and innovation in a sophisticated way in a business context. I'll tell you a bit about the unit in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. But tune in to the new words you're learning when you are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. That's a little bit about me. I'm going to say hello to you in just a second. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is put the new unit on screen, which you'll see in just a moment. It should be there. Takes a second to load. Okay. And so, yes, you'll see a blank screen, but it'll take a second to load. Okay, in the meantime, let's say welcome back to Onair. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello, John. Nice to be here again.
And let's say hello to Darren, who's coming back for the second hour. Hi, Darren.
Hello, John.
So
Nice
when I said to send me your anecdotes or your stories from the last class, did you understand what I mean? Do you know how to send me writing? Is that clear, both of you, how to send the writing? Yes? No?
No, I didn't see any writing passage.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So if you go to the message window in Verbling, you can copy and paste the text in there. The message window is always in the top right side of the Verbling homepage. That's where we can send messages to each other. So you go there. You can send a message to me by going to my page, or I can't remember as a student if my name just appears there or not. I can't remember. But anyway, you'll be able to do it by going to my page. You can send me a message directly. So if you want your story corrected, the one that you didn't have a chance to tell, send it to me as a writing. I'll correct it and send it back to you, and then you'll have a chance to try it out in the next class. Because unfortunately, it's hard to get everyone a chance to speak in every class. It's difficult sometimes. Okay? So, any questions, or is that clear? Everything clear, Onair?
Yeah. Will you provide?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Will you provide training documents for this lesson?
For this lesson, sure. They're already there. I'll give you the link again. The link is always in the class material on the front page. Here is the link to our presentation. You see it in the chat window, in the Verbling chat. Do you see that?
All right, I get it. I get it. Yes. Thank you.
And the second link is to the notes. Second link is where I put new vocabulary. The first link is the presentation that I share on screen with you. Okay? So I put both of those in the Verbling chat window. I'm also going to open the notes as well. And as we do this beginning part, when we have new vocabulary, I'm going to be adding it there. Okay? And that goes for everyone. If you can't see anything or if you don't see the links, just let me know. I try to use the Verbling chat window for the links. Okay, and let's say a quick hello to a few other faces here. Servan, nice to see you again.
Yeah,
welcome
nice
back.
To see you.
Very good. And Ishmael is back as well. Very good. And I think who's on the end here? I can't. Oh, Anna. Anna, which Anna are you? Are you a new Anna, or do I know you?
I think a new one.
A new one. Okay, Anna. Where are you from?
From Italy.
Anna Torres. Is that right?
Yeah.
I see your name now. Okay, very good. And where in Italy are you from, Anna?
In Milan.
From Milano. Okay, very good. I think I got stuck in your train station one time. I spent a lot of time in train stations in Italy.
Yeah, why? They are always in late.
Probably. It was always late, and I had no place to go, so I think I spent a lot of time there. Um, okay, so let me wait for my presentation to appear. Hold on a second here. Sorry, my computer just froze. Give me just a second. Get the presentation working, and we'll get started. Sorry, give me a second for some reason. My PDF just went blank. Give it just a second, it'll reappear. Hold on a second. My computer is doing mysterious things, but you see a big white page. Don't ask me why it's a big white page, because we just had the image and it disappeared. So I don't know what's going on. Give me a second, please. Okay, if this doesn't work, maybe I have to close my PDFs. For some reason, everything just went blank. Don't know why. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. In order to talk about innovation and new ideas in a business context, it's always good to start to think about the vocabulary by talking about the theme of innovation. And to make your lives easier, what I've given you is a picture that will give you some ideas about innovation. So what you're going to do, what we normally do in the first class of every unit, that we have. And in our note document, you'll see that I even gave you some suggestions about how to talk about themes. If you go to, let me just look at the table of contents and I'll tell you the page. Give me a second. Give me one moment here and I'll tell you the page. Okay. You'll see under Notes how to describe a photo or picture in the Notes document. Okay? And if you click on the link, I'll tell you in a second. I'm clicking on it, but for some reason it's a little bit slow. It'll take you down to page 9. It'll take you down to page 9. Okay? And I've given you some key connectors that you can use and a kind of a procedure. You'll notice 4 steps. When talking about a photo, you might want to begin by saying what you see. Step 2, guess about why you're seeing that. What's the connection to the theme? In step 3, you might want to compare and contrast it with something that you know about or are familiar with. In step 4, either offer a personal preference or draw a conclusion. And then I gave an example there which you can read on your own. I think it's from the last class. So that's on page 9. What I'm going to ask you to do is let's try this as a group. We're going to start with step 1. We're each going to say something we see. Then we're going to go to step 2 and speculate about why. And then I'm going to call on individual people to volunteer to talk about part 3 and 4. So let's each go around the room and just add one detail to step 1, which is say what you see. Okay? I see a boy. Yuki, what do you see? What can you add to the description?
Yes, I also see the boy making something, something tool, not tool, something device, not device. What is it?
Not device, but
it
contraption? Maybe it's a contraption.
Something abstract object. I don't know what that is.
How is he making it?
So
I don't know how is he making.
How is he making it? He's not using a machine. So when you're describing it, you can just say what you see. What's he using?
He using I can see. It's something on his hands.
Right. So he's using his hands, right?
Yes, he using his hands and making something maybe traditional.
Something traditional, maybe.
Something traditional.
Excellent. Very good. So far we have this description. Well, I see a boy. He appears to be making something with his hands, perhaps something traditional. Servan, what could you add to that description? What do you see?
I can see.
Not I can't see, but I see.
I
Not
see,
necessarily the same
yeah.
hand. Yeah.
So I see an orange object, and it's
It looks
like an ventilator.
a fan.
A fan, yes.
Not a ventilator. A ventilator for us has a motor attached.
Okay.
This does not have a motor, so we're going to say fan.
Yeah.
It looks like a fan, yeah.
I don't know, yeah. Maybe with a broom, you know.
Yeah.
And very, I don't know, traditional, maybe.
Very good. So far our description looks like this. Well, I see a boy. He appears to be making something with his hands. Perhaps it's something traditional. It might be a kind of a fan made out of a broom and some other parts. So I've just recapitulated what I said, what Yuki said, and what Servan said. Onair, what would you add to the description?
He's working.
Onair? Is that you? Onair? Oh,
Sorry?
we lost Onair. Yeah. Ishmael. Well, I'm just going to go from left to right, so I'm going to call you in order. Ishmael, what would you add?
And I will add that this orange thing seems to be a wind turbine, but it has a different shape of winglets.
Different shape of what? I'm sorry, the last word was?
It has some winglets, but with a different shape.
You're going to have to write that word for me, because I'm not sure what it is. Write the last word. I think you said leaflets, but I'm not sure. Could you write it for me?
Winglets.
Yeah, but write it for me so I can see what you're saying. Please, write it in the chat window. Just the last part. Okay? I don't know what... Oh, that's Yuki. Okay. Oh, winglets. Oh, okay. Got it.
The winglets shape a little different.
Let's not call those winglets. Let's call those blades. Let's call them blades. Yeah, blades. Winglet would be a little wing. Lit is a diminutive, so a little wing. But in a fan or a turbine, we would call those blades. Blades.
The blades are not symmetric.
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical.
Very good. That's a good point. So summarizing, this is what we have so far. We have, well, I see a boy. He appears to be making something with his hands. It might be something traditional. It could be a kind of a fan made out of parts, like a broom. But the blades are not symmetrical. They're slanted. Slanted. Right, Ishmael? Slanted. Clear, Ishmael?
Yes.
Okay, they're slanted. Very good. We're going to go to Onair, and then we're going to go to Anna, and then we're going to go to Darren, because that's the order I see you on my screen. Okay?
I suppose he measured something. He measured the diameter of the fan.
Good.
Maybe.
By the way, don't forget your key word connectors. Instead of saying, I suppose, okay, oh, I see, that's good, that's for number 2. I see what you're saying. About what you see, don't forget those connectors like it appears to be, it most likely is, it could be, he seems to be, right? Don't forget those if you're not sure about what you're seeing. So what was that again? He seems to be doing what, Onair?
He seems to be measures the diameter of the, measuring diameter of the fan blades or fan
Very good.
diameter.
Yeah, the fan blades. Okay.
But the workshop that he works is not eligible for innovation.
Well, not at all. It's I disagree. I disagree.
Really?
This is the perfect place for innovation because his equipment is so limited.
Yeah, very
right?
accurate.
So he's got to be innovative. Okay, very good. So to sum up, in other words, as you give me details, I'm adding more and more to our description. Well, I see a boy. He appears to be making something with his hands. It's probably something traditional. It might be a kind of a fan made out of spare parts, like perhaps with the broom. But the blades of the fan are not symmetrical. They're slanted. And he seems to be measuring the diameter of the blades, but he doesn't have a measuring stick, so he's using his hands. He's got to be innovative because he's missing a lot of equipment. Anna, can you give us another detail?
Yeah, he's working on the floor, on the ground.
Very good, yeah. He's working on the floor of his shop, yeah. On the ground, on the floor, yeah.
And what else? He's using as tool the hammer.
He's using a hammer as a tool, using the, you gotta in Italian you have to say these in the opposite order than in English, right? So he is or he appears to be, because we're not sure about what we're seeing. To speculate, you have to use those connectors, which you'll see on page, what did I say it was? Page 9 of our notes. If you want to open that document, you'll see those connectors on 9, like he appears to be, he most likely is, it seems, or he's. You can add others like he might be, he may be, any of those, because you're not sure about the situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's definitely on the floor. He appears to be using a hammer and some other kinds of tools. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, good, that's fine, it's good enough. And let's finish with Darren. What's the final piece of information you think is important about this picture?
I think he's making what is that? Fan?
A fan? Yeah. Probably a fan. Yeah.
Using some tools beside him.
Beside him, yeah, okay. So he seems to be looking or using the tools that are, let's say, around him.
Okay, around him. Okay.
Very good.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. In step 2, when you describe a picture and try to use that to talk about a theme, in this case, the theme of innovation, you have to guess or speculate about why you're looking at these pictures. What does this picture have to do with innovation? Well, Anair, you and me talked about this a little bit, didn't we? So what would you say if you had to guess or speculate about why you're seeing this picture? What's the relation to the theme of innovation, Anair? Don't forget your key connectors like there may be, there might be, I suppose, I'd imagine. What's the connection to innovation? Oh, he's on the phone. Okay. Who wants to give me a connection to innovation using one of those key expressions?
I think the connection of
the connection might be?
the connection might be his innovation. The connection. There appears to be sorry, the connection of him and innovation is trying to create new things. He seems to be an artisan. I suppose he's excellent. He's a skilled craftsman, quite experienced. So every day he tried to create new things. It leads to the innovation.
Ah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And we've got some good key words there. Skilled versus unskilled, craftsman or craftsperson, artisan. These are all good vocabulary words. So I'll put those in the notes later, but for now I'll put them in the chat window. Okay, very good, very good. And Servan, do you agree? Do you agree with what Yuki was saying about innovation?
Yes, I agree, but it's possible that this main was an Aaron structure. I don't know.
Structure?
Yes, you know that he does Aaron art, maybe.
So I didn't hear the last part. Sorry.
Oh, didn't art.
Didn't?
No, Aaron art. You know, art.
What do you mean? Art, I understand, but what do you mean by Aaron?
Aaron, because it seems Aaron. You know, Aaron. I don't know if Aaron.
Write the word
like
Aaron.
this.
Write the word in the chat window so I'm clear.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Oh, I see. Look, the pronunciation would be iron.
Iron. Okay.
Right. just like when you have the word gagner.
Yeah.
I earn.
I earn.
Just like I earn money. I earn.
earn.
Same pronunciation.
I earn. Yes.
Okay. So you agree with Yuki. So you could say, well, I agree that by working in his shop with limited tools, he might have to be innovative. I think that's what Yuki was basically saying, that he's a skilled craftsman, and that might lead to innovation. But I would add, there's your key connector, Servan, but I would add that maybe what's your point? Working with iron has led to innovation? Is that what you mean?
Yes, like art, you know, only art, but innovation, but in the art in general.
Oh, I see. So,
yes.
So working in iron has led to not
like
just
an artist.
Yeah, not just doing practical things, but
yes.
doing aesthetic things as well.
Yes.
Here's your key expression. I would also add that. So when you're agreeing and giving more information, it means the same as and, but sounds more sophisticated. I would also add that perhaps he's an artist, really an artist, not just a craftsman, because working with iron so much could lead to his ability to manipulate iron and make it beautiful. Maybe he's an artist. Okay, that's a very interesting idea. Good idea. In step 3 of our how to describe photos, let me go back to page 9. In step 3, I ask you to compare and contrast it with something you're familiar with. You can compare and contrast the photo, the situation, the object, or you can contrast the experience which relates to the theme of innovation, right? So what would you say here? Maybe let's go to Darren. I haven't given you much of a chance. Let's go to Darren. If you were going to compare and contrast this to something in your experience, what could you say? And don't forget, on page 9, you've got compare and contrast connectors like both things have or both situations have. You could use a contrast connector as, whereas one thing is big, the other is small. Okay? How would you compare and contrast this to your experience? Are you a craftsperson? Do you work in iron, Darren? Probably not, right? Darren? Hello? I don't hear you, Darren. Okay. Anna? I don't hear Darren. Anna? Are you there?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So part 3 asks us to compare and contrast. Can you relate to this situation? Do you do similar things?
Oh no, no, I'm not. But in Italy, for example, we have a lot of artisans, and
Right.
both things have in common the use of course, of the hands of the I don't know.
Of the craftsperson?
Sorry?
Of the crafts person.
Craft.
Crafts person. I'm not going to say craft man because
Oh,
it could
yeah.
be a woman too. You can also say, as Yuki said earlier, artisan.
Okay.
Artisan. Right? That's the same word in Italian, right? Artisan.
Yeah. But it's something that during the time we are missing a lot of artisans.
Missing or losing?
Losing, yeah.
Losing. Missing means
Losing.
that you're missing your husband or your wife. I'm
Oh
missing
no.
you so much. You're losing it as time goes on. You're losing the artisans, the old
Yeah.
ways of doing things. Okay, very good. That's a good point to compare and contrast. So to summarize, both situations have in common the fact that people use their hands. But more and more, we're losing that kind of handicraft in Italy. That's a very good point. Ishmael, can you relate to this situation in Turkey? Do you have artisans like this in Turkey?
Yes, we have some craftsmen and artisan in my country too, John Eric.
And what do they make?
They make a different type of art. They are creating pottery.
They create.
They create pottery. They make some how can I say?
Well, pottery I understand. So they make pottery out of clay. Is that right?
Yes.
What else?
They create metal products.
Metal.
Using
Okay, they do metallurgy, metal work, right? Metal work. Very good.
using hammer and silver. They are
They're blacksmiths.
yes.
Oh,
They
blacksmiths.
make earrings, rings for women,
Jewelry.
with
Yeah.
silver.
So they're blacksmiths
Yeah.
and silversmiths, and they make
Yes.
jewelry. That's really interesting. Can you do that yourself?
No, I cannot. But
Oh, but you can just say you did. Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah. Just impress us, Ishmael. Yeah. Anyway. Listen, in part 4.
they are very unique and you cannot find everywhere actually because they are handmade.
Handmade, right.
It is different, not ordinary or actually.
It's out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary.
They are out of the ordinary. And they are not so expensive, actually.
Really? I thought they would be more expensive.
Maybe in Europe are more expensive, but I found at their production shop in my country, and I bought for my wife some jewelry. It was not so expensive, and they are very unique.
Yeah. I remember going to Morocco and going to the shops. Okay, in the north of Morocco, it's very westernized, and they cater to the tourists, obviously. But everything was handmade. They don't have a lot of money. They have no money, actually. Everything was handmade, and really detailed. And I remember they had these silk shirts that were absolutely amazing and very cheap. I don't remember how much, but they were hand sewn. And if I remember right, uh, I was just in Tangier just for like one day or something like that, and I saw these silk shirts, but they were raw silk. They weren't refined, so it was almost like cotton, but the material was much better. And the guy told me to come back the next day, and he would have a shirt ready for me. So I think it was the next day when I was leaving, I went back, and I had this handmade silk shirt, but I've never seen anything like it in Europe, because normally you get the refined silk, it's like very, very smooth, and this one is kind of rough. It could be mixed with something else as well, but it was really amazing, and the jewelry too was handmade. So I remember that as well, and it was quite inexpensive. They have shops too, but a lot of it's really made by hand, depending on what you're getting. And let me ask one more question. Servan, in part 4, the last step is to offer a personal preference or draw a conclusion about the picture that you're seeing. So far, we've talked about handicrafts. So if you had to choose, what would you prefer? Something handmade or something store-bought?
Oh,
If you had to buy a fan like the one you're seeing in the picture, would you prefer this handmade one, or would you prefer something bought in a store?
oh no, I prefer something makes with hands. Yes.
Made by hand.
By hands, sorry. Yes, it's all right.
And I definitely prefer something made by hand.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely prefer.
And I prefer when it makes with
when it is made. When
yes,
it is made.
Yes. Out of salvage, you know.
Yeah. Out of
yes.
Out of okay, yeah. Out of salvaged things, yeah.
It's better.
But repeat after me. I prefer when it is made.
I prefer when it is made.
Out of salvaged things, or out of. There's a better way to say that, but I can't think of what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's not out. It's not garbage, but it's well, give us an example. What's one thing that you would prefer, or one thing that you've bought that was made from salvaged material?
Oh, there are a lot of things you can do with salvage material.
Mm-hmm.
You can have everything, really. Everything. Right. Yes, I think in your kitchen, in decoration, you know.
Mm-hmm. Decoration.
Yes, a lot of things. Maybe the television, no, but
nothing electronic. Might be
electronic. It doesn't sound great, but everything to put in your house, I think it's possible to do with salvage things.
Okay, very good. And Yuki, if you had to draw a conclusion from this picture and everything we've talked about so far, if you had to draw a conclusion about innovation and resources or whatever, what might you say based on what we've talked about?
I might to say they appear to be the craftsman, artisan, in spite of his young age, he seems to be skillful, experienced craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's doing is closely related to the innovation, because without his attempt, his struggle, everyday struggle, it is difficult to him to maintain his job, because in the time of competition, it is difficult to survive without the daily innovation. So I suppose he every day he tried to create something new, something innovative. That is his task, his challenge.
His challenge, right, right. So we've got some good vocabulary words about ideas, like skilled, experienced, skillful, as Yuki said, innovative, and innovation, right? So all of these words are good as an introduction to what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the unit. Let's take a quick look. Hopefully this will... Phew, my PDFs, I don't know what's going on with my PDFs. Yesterday my browser was crashing. Today my browser is fine.
Big white.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why there's a delay here. Yesterday everything... Like today I got the browser fixed.
It reminds me the Pink Floyd album, Brick of Wall.
This does not remind you of a Pink Floyd album. This is just a blank page. So this is a new problem. Yesterday, my browser was crashing. I got that fixed. Now I can't look at PDFs on my screen. I can't believe this. Well, it'll be there in a second, but what you're going to see in just a minute are a few questions. So what I'll do is I'll ask you the questions, and then they'll appear eventually on the screen. Oh, now you can see it. Okay. Now you should be able to see it. So, as an overview of the unit, today and for the next probably 8 classes, we will be talking about ideas and innovations, and we'll be learning at least 2 sets of vocabulary to help you expand your vocabulary for those kinds of words. Words like adjectives like innovative, and a variety of other words too. We'll see that in just a minute. That'll be more in tomorrow's class, actually. Later on, we'll be presenting an idea of our own, an idea, a product, or service. And we'll be doing that in a kind of a short presentation. One of the skills when you're doing a presentation like that is to respond to the people who are going to be listening to you in the audience or whatever. So we're going to work on practical skills in thanking and responding the audience that's listening. And finally, our grammatical point will be revising how to talk about the present, the past, and the future in terms of ability. What kind of modal verbs do you need to use? Because we have able, but we also have can. We also have other variations that don't use modal verbs. We'll be looking at all of that and revising that as a point. For the rest of the class today, we're going to have a little discussion, and we're going to try to put into use some of those words that we used before. If you give me just a minute, I'm going to go to my PDF on my other computer. So I'll read you the questions, and then they'll appear on the screen in a second. There's a weird delay today for some reason. Give me just a second, and I'll do that. Hold on. One moment. Is this it? Almost there. Give me a second. Almost there. What I'm doing is, while my PDF is a big white page, I'm opening my other one on my other computer. Okay, I found it. So, here are some discussion questions for you. Ah, look, now it appeared. I don't know what's going on today. Okay. I'm on the wrong page. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I'll turn the page, but I'll read you the questions. First question. I want to know what your opinion is about this. What do you think the difference is between invention and innovation in a general sense? we need to define these terms before we move on. Okay? What do you think is the difference between just invention and innovation?
Innovation is a small invention, maybe.
Innovation is a small invention. Why do you say small? Why do you say small?
Actually, when I talk about an invention, it is it's bring a huge amount of service to mankind.
Mm-hmm.
For example, invention
Oh, like the invention of the
a
wheel.
telephone, invention
Okay.
of a credit card, but innovation, for example, if we find another workflow at
Mm-hmm.
my workplace, which is more fast than the other,
Which is faster.
which is faster than the old one, we can talk about an innovation.
Okay, so innovation might have more to do with finding a new way or a novel way to do something or a novel use of something you already have, whereas invention is much more about something big, something that hasn't existed before, if I get your meaning. Okay, that's an interesting point. Actually, I didn't think about that. For me, innovation was the bigger idea, but maybe you've got a point. That innovation is like could be a small invention or adding to something new. Okay, and what do you think?
I think innovation is just a new idea. It's my opinion. But innovation is something material. So you can materialize your innovation into the invention.
Oh, I see. So which one is material and which one is immaterial? Just to clarify. Invention is the material one?
Difficult.
But you mean that innovation is more immaterial. It's more conceptual. Is that what you mean?
To be worth to buy for something, if it to be the worth to pay attention to buyers, it would be the innovation. I don't know.
So innovation has a lot to do with marketing as well.
Maybe it is something. Some innovation is. Invention is something material in industry. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Let me ask Anna, if invention is more material, can you think of some things that we would think of with invention, some material things? Let's try to see if we can compare and contrast the two ideas. What are some material things we might associate with inventions, Anna?
With invention, for example, the light, the electricity.
Okay, electricity, right? So so everything we use candles, even in the 20th century, we used candles and gaslight, and then after World War II, everything kind of switched to electricity, maybe even a bit before. Okay, that's a good point. And what comes to mind with innovation, something that's non-material?
Oh, that is not material.
Yeah, non-material.
I don't know. I think that could be even something inside your company. You make an innovation process to improve. I don't know, to improve something that you are doing, the customer service, or.
Okay, what would be? That's a good idea. What would be an innovation in customer service? Think back from now to the beginning of the telephone, right? What's an innovation that you can think of with customer service? Since this is a business class, that's a good idea. And this one, I'm asking to the whole class, to Anna, but to all of you too.
Could start from to have a plan of about the kind of question that the clients generally asked, or I don't know, even to make a report at the end of the week or at the end of the month. In this way, you can improve all the time of the replies or the satisfaction of the customers.
Okay, so in other words, being more systematic in how you ask questions or how you retain the information might be an innovation in customer service. Okay, would anyone add to that? Just out of curiosity, would anyone add to that? I can think of one big innovation that is also an invention. I've got one really good idea in mind, but I'll save that for a minute. Would anyone add to what Anna's saying?
I think invention is first thing, first discovery, something finding for the first time. Innovation is after that you can remodel, you can improve innovation, invention into the more sophisticated, more useful ones. So I think American people is are good at make invention, but Japanese people is good at innovation.
I see. Can you give us an example of that?
For example, a car.
Right.
First car for industrial use is made in Britain or America, maybe America. America maybe it succeeded to achieve a mass production of car aftermobile. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But now everyone knows the Japanese car is it is high quality of Japanese car is well known in the world. So
as long as they don't break down, because they can never be fixed. That's
yes.
the problem. They're impossible to fix, but as long as they don't break down, they're great. Yeah.
We can say same things in the radio. Radio is invented in where? Maybe, but mass production radio is it's made in America, maybe, yeah.
What did Marconi invent? You Italians out there, was that the telephone or was that the radio?
It was radio.
It was radio, yeah. So radio is Italian originally.
Radio is made in Italy.
I'm not sure, because I know Marconi was this kind of he was a kind of like underrated inventor, like, you know, Thomas Edison was really famous and Alexander Graham Bell, but I think Marconi was actually the one who created, I don't remember if it was the phone or the radio or one of them. Okay.
Anyway, Japanese succeeded in make smaller the radio. They created
so they were innovative.
New product as transistor radio. It is made by Sony, maybe. Yeah. So I think Japanese are good at making innovation, not invention.
Very good, very good. That's a good point. So going from solid state, from whatever it was, tubes, to solid state, shrunk down to electronics, microelectronics.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And Darren, do you have a favorite invention? I'm just curious. You're very quiet today, Darren. Do you have a favorite invention? I guess that's a no. Okay, what about Ishmael? Do you have a favorite invention in history? Is there an invention that you're particularly enamored of?
Yes, I think the invention of microprocessor is very important for human history.
Absolutely. What do you think it did for us?
Because a lot of side products were produced from using some microprocessor in techno life nowadays. For example, Apple products. John Eric, do you hear me?
I think he was gone. Maybe
Yes.
he has a problem in. I think he'll come back soon.
What are we doing?
We are just
We are waiting.
just waiting. There is no other option
Yeah.
but waiting. Maybe your first time in the class? No? We met first time, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Sevan.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my
Nice to meet
first
you.
time, yes, in class. But it's very cool, huh? Very interesting, I
Yeah.
think. Yes, I like it.
Regarding the class, your first time?
It's my first time, yeah.
First time. How is your impression from the
Oh,
public class?
it's very nice, really. Very interesting, I think. Yes, I would like to do another class, you know?
Mhm.
And you?
I already have joined the class already a year, so
Okay.
I am quite
Yeah.
experienced student here.
Welcome, teacher.
Joan.
Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
teacher.
Welcome back, teacher.
I don't know.
Do you hear me, John?
I can't hear anything.
Yes, I also. But your voice.
Yes.
I hear your voice clearly,
Yes.
but not
Very
the
strange.
teacher's.
Hello.
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 This is the new thing. At the end of class, I just get kicked out. I don't know what's happening.
Who kicked out?
No one. It's nature, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the gods of Google. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So sorry about that. But just to finish our discussion, I have one more question. Whoops, where'd my question go? My question was, what innovation do you think would improve the quality of your life, or specifically your work? Because this is a business class, so we can talk more about that. What innovation do you think would improve? Is there something that you wish could be invented or could be changed? What comes to mind? This is for all of you, so whoever's got an idea, feel free to speak up. I know what would improve my life is that if the Google Hangout would work better on my computer, that would help me. What about you?
I want to teleporting
Yes!
in the time.
Star Trek!
Yes, John Eric, I'm waiting.
Excellent.
Yeah. For
Because
me,
I am a
sorry.
homesick person.
Right.
I want to be in a small time in different places.
Very good. Teleportation would be a good idea. And Savan, what about you? Teleportation or something else?
Yes. In my work, I am a dentist.
Right.
So I think the anesthetic product, you know?
Right.
Yes.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous, but it's a great innovation because I can care the teeth of my patients.
Right.
And without pain. So.
Pain's good though.
Yeah.
There's a great documentary. It's a short documentary on what's the name of that? I'm blanking on the name, but it's Vice magazine, about a guy. I've talked about this in the class before. About a guy who was going for a dental procedure, but a normal procedure, nothing strange, a normal dental procedure. And when he came out of the anesthesia, he could no longer use his jaw. He had brain damage.
Oh.
And it was a normal, everyday procedure. He went to get a cavity filled or a tooth extracted, nothing unusual.
Yeah.
The problem was his job was to be a voiceover artist. He was a radio announcer, so he couldn't work anymore, and he was very depressed. So I told this story once before in a different context. The ending of the story goes like this: he was depressed and he couldn't sleep at night. He started to take Ambien, which is a sleep drug.
Yeah.
One day, his insomnia was so bad that when he took the Ambien, he couldn't fall asleep. But guess what happened? Magically, he could use his jaw like it was normal and he could speak perfectly. And that led to a scientific discovery that this sleep drug somehow switches on parts of the brain that the brain thinks is damaged, but in fact isn't.
Whoa.
So it led to a discovery. Now the only problem is that he can't speak normally without taking Ambien, and Ambien makes you very tired. So it's a trade-off. But anyway, it's very interesting, and also that's why I'm scared to death of dentists.
Yeah.
Well, I think
true. Yeah.
It's a true story, and you can go to YouTube and see the documentary. If you go to Vice, go to the Vice YouTube channel and just type Ambien, you'll see it. It's a really, because you can see him in the documentary. You can see him before and after he takes the sleep drug, and he speaks perfectly normally. Without it, he talks like this, and with it, he's talking normally like I am now.
I'd love to try that.
What is the lesson, Johnny?
And try.
Go to dentist.
The lesson is don't ever go to the dentist unless it's Servan, because that would never happen with her.
Please.
Her. Don't go to the dentist. But it's also a lesson about innovation. Sometimes innovation happens serendipitously. Do you know that word? Serendipity. If you don't know that word, you'll know it now.Ok in the chat window. Serendipity is an unexpected result, an unexpectedly good result. So now they can try to isolate the part of the drug that turns on the genes or that have been turned off, and they can try to cut out the part of the drug that makes you tired. So it's something quite innovative, and it's an accident. It kind of reminds me of what they're doing in going to rainforests looking for natural drugs, because animals that live with certain dangers develop resistances, and if they can turn it into a pill, it could be used to fight diseases. You know, that's one of the ways to look for innovation. Go to the rainforest somewhere and see what animals do naturally, right? Just as an example. Well, I think we're going to have to stop. We're at the end of the hour, but we've got lots of interesting vocabulary. We've also talked a bit about innovation. Some of the words that we probably will use in the future are skilled, right? We're talking about the kind of person you need to be innovative. So skilled, artisan, craftsman, these are all good words. Some of the other words are interesting. They're good just to know them, like blacksmith and silversmith, but we don't need them in terms of innovation. Skilled, experienced, skillful, innovative, innovation, to innovate. And what else did I put in the notes there? I'll add these words to our Word document as well, to our shared notes. Well, I think that's about it for now. What we're going to do in the next class is take these initial words, and we're going to learn some new ones we'll do a little reading about an innovative project. In fact, environmental projects rely on innovation, because if you use too much technical equipment or whatever, you're defeating your own purpose. You'll be polluting or whatever. So we're going to look at some very innovative ways to approach environmental issues in the next class, and we'll use the text that we're going to read to learn new vocabulary, to get some input. Okay, that will be tomorrow at the same hour. And before that, we're going to be doing part 2 of our Great Short Stories class on William Carlos Williams. We're going to read the second story, or if you can, read it before class. and we're going to compare the two stories and maybe talk about, if you've read a bit of Chekhov, if you find any similarities between Dr. Writer Chekhov and Dr. Writer William Carlos Williams. So that's at 10 GMT, and the next class for this class is at 11 GMT. So I hope to see you there. Okay? Have a great day, everyone. Be innovative. Don't go to the dentist.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you.
Bye for now,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Take
Guys.
care.